Hi there, Jan Copeland with the Livy Girl Success Boutique and the Girl's Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success here for today's episode of our 30 Days in September Inspirational Life Transformation. And as always, we have an amazing woman. My friend Shannon Milligan today is with us, and she's going to be sharing from her heart a time in her life when she had a transition. And I want to share with you about Shannon. She lives in Richmond, and we've never met actually, but I really admire her. So she knows that. What I love about you, Shannon, is that you're original. And in my coaching, most of the women come to me that are struggling, and they kind of try to, be the, the rung on the Remax ladder, but I'm Remax or I'm Colwell or I'm whatever. And it's like, wait, I don't care about that. That's not why somebody's going to hire you. What are you? And I help them figure out their brand. Okay. As part of my coaching. And so with you, I don't even know how I saw you, but I love it. You're engaging and you're yourself. So congratulations. You are with eXp Realty. You've been an agent for 10 years, but I know that, and maybe this might be some of your story, but you had little ones. And so you didn't really go full time in until 2012. And you are an icon agent with eXp, which means you pretty much don't pay anything to a broker, bottom line. So ladies, you're going to be blessed with hearing from Shannon. So Shannon, I don't care what you want to share, right? This is your time to share something of heartfelt with you in your life story to hopefully inspire someone who may be struggling with whatever you're going to talk about or just needs a pick-me-up today. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you, Shannon.
Well, thank you for having me, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate the kind words. I will say my life changed when I decided to be me and not conform to what other people, what box they wanted me in, and I'm having way more fun in my business than I've ever had. And it's interesting. I got married at 25, and I couldn't have kids. I had fertility issues and challenges, and we got my dog Bella, who just recently passed away last year, and I got pregnant with twins a month later. And so she was always my blessing. And from that, I moved around with my husband for his jobs. He got promotions or what have you. And so I was a stay-at-home mom. And I feel like when I had to become a stay-at-home mom, and I was forced to because having twins, we lived in Northern Virginia, it was too expensive to send them to daycare. Like, it would have put us in the hole. And so we struggled a lot in Northern Virginia. My husband made good money, but up there, a starter home is $500,000, and with one income and newborn twins who were allergic to everything. And I mean everything. We had to go on Nutramigen, which it's about this big. And during the height of my kids being babies, they went through a can a day, and that's $25 a day just on that formula. And it was, 140 diapers a week at the height of it. And that stuff's expensive. And then on top of the mortgage, and I couldn't work. So I felt, I hate to say this word, but it's true. I felt very resentful. I think of not only my husband, who got to go to work every day and got to pee by himself, right? And had adult interaction. Mm-hmm. Looking back on it, I think I resented my kids a little bit too. Not that they did anything. It was just, this was a lifestyle was forced upon me that I didn't like and I didn't want. And the tipping point was when I took my kids to a checkup. And they were maybe 2.5. And the pediatrician said to me, we got to get you some coping skills, because I was at my wit's end. And so I took that to mean I need to get a job. And so I went and I got a job, and I was I sold sleep studies. So basically I was kind of like a pharmaceutical rep, but it was for sleep studies. So I would go into these doctors' offices and I would get them to write prescriptions to have their people do the sleep studies at my place. And so I went into that doctor, and she was like, well, that's not what I meant. And I'm like, but it's what I needed. So I went and I got this job, and it was awesome. And we ended up moving to Richmond. My husband decided to come down here for a promotion. And about 2 years in, my husband came home. It was like 7 a.m. And I thought, this is weird. Maybe 7:30. I'm like, why is he back here? And he walked in the door and he said, 2 years ago when I told you when they figure this out, I won't have a job because it never made sense. He's like, I have 2 months. And we had kids that were, I think maybe kindergarten, twins again, built a beautiful house. And I was like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do? And up to this point, I had been a very glass half empty person. It is my natural tendency. It is my personality to be that way, which is funny because you're probably thinking,
I would never think that.
right. But it really was. And so I started to go into this, oh, woe is me. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I happened to belong to this blogging. Remember, I told you I started blogging in 2011, even though I couldn't be a realtor till my kids went into actual school, like full day. When they were in preschool, I started blogging. So I belonged to this community. I knew I was going to be a real estate agent. I got my license in Northern Virginia, and I was an admin for somebody. So when we moved to Richmond, I knew I was going to do it, but I couldn't do it right away because, you know, preschool 3 days a week for 3 hours is not making a real estate agent. But I blog. So I belonged to Active Rain, which is this community, and I went on there and I blogged about my husband losing his job. And then all of a sudden, things started showing up at my house. These realtors across the country said, we're going to help you with your business. I had an agent build me a custom WordPress website free of charge. Another one taught me really well how to blog, long-term keywords, short-term, all this stuff. They taught me how to blog. And then this was the most amazing thing. A package showed up at my door. And Will Ham, he's a realtor out in Colorado, sent me the tapes of The Secret, the book, and work pages. And I got that and I started listening to it. And little by little, my mindset started to change. And wouldn't you know it, maybe a week after he sent that and after I completed it, I got my first client. And it was a cash buyer.
Wow.
And, right, for my first client. And then weirdly enough, after that, like I got another client. And then after that, I got another client. And all of a sudden, it just started to snowball. And what I realized in that moment was I am the destiny. I am the one that I control my destiny. You know, I'm listening to the energy bus. I'm the one that lets the right people get on my bus or not get on my bus. And I had to take control of me, and my mindset changed. And then I went and I took Bold at Keller Williams. And as foo-foo as I thought it was life-changing. And what Bold really does, forget about you got to contact 100 people a day. Not that. It was the mindset stuff that really changed my life. I had a breakdown. You know, you have to have a breakdown and to have the breakthrough. Yeah. And I had a breakdown during that class. And I realized that I was my own problem. I was the thing that was in my own way. And so I went from selling 3 houses to 30 because of that package and changing my mindset. And, you know, I really realized, I think 80% of this business is changing your mindset. And I think the 2 most powerful words in the English language are I decided. And I decided to be successful. And, you know, I had to kick some people out of my life. I had to say, nope, you're not getting on my bus. You're the energy vampire. Get off. You know, only positive people are allowed on there. And here's the truth. Every day, it's something I have to work on because there's nature versus nurture, right? Like, it's in my nature to be negative because it's just how I was built. It's what I was around when I was younger. We grew up very poor. Like, there was a lot of negativity in there. But I have to nurture the positivity. And every day I post a quote. And it's funny, I started getting people messaging me on Facebook like, this is great, this is helping me. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. And I do it for me every day. And I just happen to share. That is me setting my mind right. And then another book that I've been reading is called 2 Chairs. And I am a Christian. And it has really helped to center me. And what I'm realizing there is God, and I'm speaking for myself though, you know, you can believe what you want to believe, but for me, God wants good things for me. And I just have to go and collect it. Now, you know, he favors those that works the harvest, right? Like, you got to be out there, you got to be plowing, you got to sow, you got to do all that stuff. But then you'll get the harvest. And so really it's just been a mind shift for me. And my husband has noticed it. And I went from like I said, three in 2012 to 30. And then I think I did 24 because I switched brokerages and I focused on the wrong things. But then I went to 30 and then 32 and then 35. And last year we did 47. And, this year we'll probably be somewhere around the same as last year. And that was the other thing. I had to ask myself, what's your woody woofy? So my husband always asks me, what's your woody woofy? What do you want for you?
Yes.
And in this business, that was something else I had to ask myself, because it's funny, when you experience a little bit of success in this business, other people have dreams and aspirations for you that not necessarily you want. Listen, everybody wants me to sell like 100, 200 homes. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And then all that pressure was on my shoulders until one day I was like, that's not what I want. Like, I love having relationships with my clients. And, when I started to build a team, it's just me and a buyer agent, I realized I start to lose a little bit of connection with people. Like, we would have events, client events, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. And that bothered me. So I really like 50 units, no more than 60, I think is the goal. But 50 units is a good life for myself, my buyer agent, because I do think it's nice to have two people, if she's on vacation, I can cover, or vice versa. But 25 and 25 is really the goal. And that's a really nice life for me and my family. And I guess what I want to say is, you control where you are. And I know that there's things, and when I say that, I'm not saying like Tom Cruise and there is mental illness, and that's a different story. And you do need to get help if you suffer from that. I suffer from anxiety, and I see a therapist once a month now, but I was going once a week. And that helps me a lot. So if you have those issues, don't think that I'm saying you control that. There are certain things that you can't control, and you can control how you're going to get help and seek people that are going to help you with what you need. And if you can't afford a therapist, you have friends, and it's best to talk it out. But really, I choose to be happy. I choose to be, I'm not even happy. Happy is an elated thing. I choose to be content every day. And I picked my attitude, and I found myself today yelling because the bearded dragon behind me is smelling, and my son's home from school on the second day because he's got a kinked neck and is in pain, and found myself yelling at him. And then I walked away, and I'm like, you know what? That's me choosing to be angry versus grateful. And you can't be grateful and angry at the same time. So if you change that tape in your head to being grateful, I'm grateful that my son is here to have this bearded dragon, right? Like, okay, so it stinks up my house. All right. And it brings my son immense joy, and that brings me joy. So it's really just about, getting your mindset right and not allowing that negativity in. And when my husband lost his job, and I picked up those pieces, it was so empowering, and my confidence level grew. And that has been a huge difference. And just a side note to the losing his job, his last day he had 2-month notice. His last day, he was offered a better job with more money at a different company. And so again, stepping off on faith was something that just kept being reiterated to me. Have faith that you can do this, Shannon. And other people put faith in me. And then I started to believe it.
Oh, that's awesome. Shannon, you have so many good things in there. I want to just, before we end our time, I want to just hit on a few.
Sure.
Ladies, I always talk about how important decisions are. The life we're living right now is a result of decisions of the past. So if you don't like the life you're living, think about your last 10 decisions maybe. And then you said I was my problem. And I think that so many times in this crazy world, we try to defend. And I know that for myself, as I got better and better and more production, and, my goals were to be over 100, per year. And I did, and that was quite a crazy life. And so you're right in that. But I remember that I had to decide the way I was going to live my life. And that if I had a problem, here's what I believe: unless it's health, physical or mental, I think that you cause your own problems. I really think that. I think that what goes on right here is the problem. And somehow that's why I'm on this bus, because my mother died a depressed person. She lived a life. She existed. We always say it's sad that mom existed because she didn't really live. So I'm excited for you that you were, maybe nature gave you a certain mindset and you're nurturing the love and the positivity. And I too love all of your posts. You said that you had to take control of me. I think that's fabulous. And you said, I am my destiny. I think that's great. I was actually going to ask you if your husband joined you on your team, but no, he stayed in corporate.
He wanted to, and I really know myself and really want to stay married. I am a control freak, and I don't think that that's a good idea. And I just want to make one thing clear. I hope this is okay to say. I am still a shit show. Like, I am the Wizard of Oz. Somebody's going to pull back that curtain and be like, what the heck is that behind that curtain? You know, you're not expecting this short little guy. I am still a work in progress, and every day I fail. And you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. And every day I fail at that too, right? And I try to do better. And it's just something that I don't want anybody to think, oh, this girl's got it all together. No, far from it. And it's just like the Michael Jordan commercial back in the 80s. The reason I succeed is because I fail every day, and I have the courage to get back up. And that's the only difference. I am fearful all day long. I freak out all day long about where, like just today I had a business meeting with my buyer agent. It's just me and her. And I'm like, I don't know where the next business is coming from. I really don't. Like, we need some more referrals and that sort of thing. And I have faith, and I step out with courage. And that's what makes the difference. And you have to find that faith, find that courage. And you know what changed my life? I had forgotten when I got in a bad spot about a year ago, mentally. I don't know why, just couldn't change the tape. I realized the one thing I did wrong. I had stopped reading books because my husband liked to read his iPad at night and liked the light off, and I had liked a physical book.
Yes.
So I hadn't been listening to books in like a year and a half, and I realized, oh my gosh. So I got back into listening to Audible. And what a mindset change. I mean, I've listened to the same book sometimes 5 times. I take it in the shower with me in the morning. My phone is in my shower, and I just cover it up because I believe that what you listen to and what you read in the first thing in the morning is what's going to set your day. So again, I just wanted people to know that I don't think that I have it all figured out. I just do know that I can control 95% of, you know, the things that happen to me and what I feel about them. 5%, sure, you're going to have those chemical things and you got to work that out. And that's also up to you to go get some help and be able to say, you know, that women don't like to say, hey, I need help. Listen, I need help all day long. I need it with lots of things. And my therapist has been the best thing ever for me. So just know that
Thank you for saying that, Shannon, because I feel that I agree with you in terms of me. Okay. I freak out. I, get things wrong. I mess up with my kids. I apologize, mess up with my husband, whatever. But anybody who thinks they have it all together is the worst off. At least, that we can be honest and say, hey, I can tell you this, I'm going to approach the day positively. I'm going to be expectant of great things, right? And I'm going to look for opportunities, and I'm not going to dwell on anything negative that may exist, right? Because we all have, like you said, a shit show. I mean, we all have stuff happen in our lives. But anyway, thank you for your inspiration. Keep being amazing. And thanks, Shannon.
Thanks for having me. Bye, y'all.
Bye.